on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video. Look like the Indiana Fever front office has a tough hand to deal with this offseason. New information has been revealed about free agency, guys. For this one here, we got to go all the way up to
The Indiana Fever just walked straight into the biggest offseason nightmare the WNBA has ever seen. While the world can't stop cheering for Caitlin Clark's jaw-dropping accomplishments, the front office is quietly drowning in chaos. Every decision on their table could either create a dynasty or completely waste the most hyped player in women's basketball. And let's be honest, time isn't on their side. What fans don't realize is that the Fever's roster mess isn't complicated. It's an absolute disaster. They were inches from the WNBA finals before everything collapsed like a bad script. Now, it's a total storm. Injuries everywhere, contracts dying out, and CBA talks freezing the whole league. But here's the twist nobody's bold enough to say out loud. The real crisis isn't about who they'll sign next, it's about who they're on the edge of losing. That panic you're feeling? Yeah, it's completely justified.
To deal with this offseason, but more importantly, they got a lot of revamping to do, man. Nearly making it to the WNBA finals, finishing pretty much at the semifinals, losing superstar player Caitlin Clark. Answers are going to be had in regards to this offense, man. Kelsey Mitchell went down.
Listen to how he spins this. For the third straight year, the Fever are making massive roster shakeups, and that's just not what real championship teams do. Great teams build legacies, not rebuilds every season. But the Fever, they've been living in full-blown panic mode ever since they drafted Caitlin Clark. Now, they're gambling everything on one question. Can they even keep Kelsey Mitchell? Sounds insane, right? She's their second best player. But that's the trap. When Caitlin went down in July, something wild happened. The offense didn't fall apart, it transformed. Mitchell, Artie McDonald, and Sydney Colson all rose up like stars. The team suddenly realized they could actually survive without Clark controlling every play. And that little discovery? Yeah, it just turned this entire offseason into a psychological minefield.
It's definitely looking like deer in the headlights as they make a decision to keep superstar player Kelsey Mitchell and try to land more. Articles has been released, kind of breaking this whole thing down, dog. That's what we finna go over right now. Let's pull it up.
Look, they're frozen like deer in headlights. And honestly, that's the perfect picture of this mess. The front office swore they had it all figured out. Build around Caitlin Clark, add some shooters, and cruise straight to the finals. But reality didn't just tap them. It smacked them right across the face. Kelsey Mitchell fumbled hard at point guard, the entire roster fell apart from injuries, and what comes next should absolutely terrify Fever fans. Because guess what? Those injuries might not be bad luck at all. Multiple reports say they're tied directly to Stephanie White's relentless coaching style. Full speed, high intensity, max minutes for stars. It's a recipe for burnout, and the body's finally broke. Now the front office faces an impossible choice: completely rebuild everything around Caitlin's health, or roll the dice and pretend last season's meltdown was just one big fluke.
It felt like the Indiana Fever season had ended right there. But thanks to the Fever willpower, matched with Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston's brilliance and Stephanie White coaching, the team kept fighting. But after a heartbreaking exit, attention has already shifted to what's next. With the CBA negotiation casting certainly across.
Watch how the story flips right before your eyes. Suddenly, it's all about the Fever's grit, their team effort, and the brilliance of Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. But wait, notice something missing? Caitlin Clark's name. Yeah, that's not a coincidence. Not even close. When Clark went down, the media wasted zero time rewriting the script. Now it's a tale of balance, depth, and teamwork, not superstar dominance. And that shift comes with a dangerous twist. If Mitchell thinks she just proved she can carry the whole franchise without Clark, why wouldn't she chase a max contract? Or worse, test free agency and become someone else's #1 star? The Fever built their empire around Caitlin, but in the process, they may have accidentally created a second superstar who's no longer okay with playing second fiddle.
After Caitlin Clark injury, the Indiana Fever, otherwise known for their flashy and fast-paced style, had to make some adjustments. It wasn't a complete overhaul. To me, I think it was an overhaul, bro. They lost pretty much their whole damn roster.
They keep saying there are 2 big roster decisions that will define the Fever's offseason. But let's be real, that's the understatement of the year. Behind the curtain, the drama is way messier. Decision 1, Kelsey Mitchell's contract chaos. She's an unrestricted free agent fresh off a breakout season, proving she's not just a catch-and-shoot sidekick to Caitlin Clark. She's a star in her own right. Decision 2, rebuilding depth after that injury apocalypse shredded their entire rotation. But wait, there's a secret third decision nobody wants to talk about, and it's the real bombshell. Do they double down on Stephanie White's all-gas, no-brakes system, or pull the plug to protect their $28 million investment in Caitlin Clark? Because here's the truth. You can't run max-effort basketball for 40 straight games and expect your franchise player to survive it. Something's gotta break, and it might not just be bones this time.
Balance between maintaining the identity that took them within the game of the WNBA Finals and continuing to build the roster around their superstar Caitlin Clark. Now, with that being said, before Caitlin Clark injury, most of the Fever offense flowed through her. Well, that's kind of not true, man. The offense did not flow through Caitlin.
Listen to this contradiction. It's almost comical. The speaker swears it wasn't a full rebuild, then instantly trips over his own words because, let's face it, the official story doesn't match the chaos that actually went down. The Fever are desperately trying to convince fans they made calm, strategic tweaks. But the truth? They were in pure emergency mode. Caitlin Clark, their entire offensive engine, gone. RT McDonald, their defensive spark, ACL torn. The rotation they spent months building, completely demolished. And here's the part that's got Indiana's front office losing sleep. They don't even know which version of their team is real anymore. Is the true Fever the one that nearly stormed the finals with a healthy Clark, or the broken mess that crumbled the moment reality hit?
Caitlin Clark off the ball a lot of the time, and it wasn't that they lacked teamwork, but Clark was naturally the primary indicator and playmaker. After she went down, things shifted. Mitchell, Artie McDonald, Sydney Colson, and even Sophie all took turns to shoulder the responsibility and pretty much be the bench to kind of keep everything.
Now we're finally peeling back the real issue. The myth that the Fever's entire offense revolved around Caitlin Clark. Everyone keeps repeating it like gospel. But guess what? It's flat out wrong. The Fever didn't run through Clark. They ran around her. She spent a lot of time off the ball, more decoy than dominator. And that's the key detail everyone's been sleeping on. This wasn't a Clark-centric system. It was a team system that just happened to feature her as a flashy playmaker, not the main scorer. But when she went down, the truth came crashing in. This offense had layers. Other players stepped up, the ball zipped, and somehow they didn't implode. Which leaves the front office with a nasty dilemma. If the system works without your superstar, do you really pay top-tier money to hold it all together? Or roll the dice and hope Caitlin's comeback takes it from good to legendary?
2026 season, keeping all this in mind, the Indiana Fever front office need to balance their roster as it comes for the 2026 season. Sure, their priority should be to sign nobody else other than Kelsey Mitchell, but it goes on to say, how can the Indiana Fever improve its roster?
Mitchell, Artie McDonald, Sydney, and even Sophie all took turns carrying the weight. And yeah, that phrase "took turns" says it all. That's not an offense, that's a fire drill. But here's where Indiana's front office is knee-deep in psychological quicksand. Those survival heroics just blew up everyone's price tag. Artie McDonald suddenly looked like a legit starting point guard before she went down. Sydney Colson proved she's way more than a bench spark. And Kelsey Mitchell? She made a terrifying case as a true number one option. Every one of those breakout moments just turned this offseason into a financial nightmare. The Fever's depth didn't just save their season, it might have doomed their future. Because now, they can't afford to lose anyone. But they definitely can't afford to keep everyone either.
Can use this time to set its targets for the next season. Yes, there are a lot of uncertainty. But their next priority should be to stock up guards. CC is coming back, but I feel like Ari McDonald is definitely going to be somebody they're going to have to get signed. Pretty sure her stock went up, but the type of injury she had, we don't know if she's going to come back and be the same.
Let's be real. The Indiana Fever front office is walking a tightrope heading into 2026, and there's only one name that should be keeping them up at night: Kelsey Mitchell. Period. This is the moment where the entire franchise either levels up or implodes. If they hand Mitchell a max deal, they're locking into the shiny two-star blueprint. Clark and Mitchell running the show while everyone else just fills in the background. But if they let Mitchell walk, They're basically betting their whole future on Caitlin Clark carrying a squad of role players to a title all by herself. There's zero middle ground here, no wait-and-see safety net. And with the CBA still frozen, the clock's already ticking. Because the second that deal gets signed, every team in the WNBA is going to come hunting for Kelsey Mitchell. And the Fever have to decide now if they've got the guts and the cash to keep her.
But I feel like Ari McDonald is definitely going to be somebody they're going to have to get signed. Pretty sure her stock went up, but the type of injury she had, we don't know if she's going to come back and be the same, too. Goes on to say another positive thing of bringing back her. She's already familiar with Cambridge. She's already familiar with the system. And, and the other tough thing will be none other than...
You can hear the hesitation in his voice, the kind that screams panic wrapped in optimism. Sure, the next move sounds simple. Stack up on guards. Caitlin Clark is coming back, but Artie McDonald? She's the real wild card. The Fever absolutely need to lock her in, but that's where the dominoes start tumbling. It's not just Mitchell anymore. It's McDonald, whose stock went through the roof right before that brutal ACL tear. Now the question is whether she ever returns as the same player. Meanwhile, the Fever have to find depth for the front court, fix their bench scoring, and somehow rebuild defensive flexibility. All under a countdown clock that starts the moment the CBA drops. Other teams are planning and plotting like chess masters. The Fever? They're frozen in place, trying to keep everyone happy while knowing deep down. The math just doesn't add up.
So, as you guys can see here, Caitlin Clark was named to AP's all-time starting five of women's college basketball players, along Cheryl Miller, Candace Parker, Breanna Stewart, and Diana Taurasi. A lot of people probably going to be mad about this. I believe this is big time for Caitlin because she truly is one of them ones. She's transitioned the game in so many ways, and this is definitely...
He absolutely earned it for her. And just like that, the entire narrative flips. Caitlin Clark has officially been named to the AP's all-time starting five in women's college basketball, joining absolute legends Cheryl Miller, Candace Parker, Breanna Stewart, and Diana Taurasi. That's not just a flex, and that's a full-blown pressure bomb. Because now it's not about building a good team around Clark. It's about crafting a dynasty around one of the five greatest players the college game has ever seen. And here's the psychological trap the Fever just stumbled into. Caitlin's college legacy is bulletproof. She's the all-time scoring queen, carved onto the Mount Rushmore of women's hoops, but her WNBA legacy? Still a blank page. If the Fever botch this offseason, lose Kelsey Mitchell, fail to build real depth, Caitlin's pro career risks becoming the biggest what-if in basketball history. The front office isn't just juggling contracts now, they're juggling destiny.